Hello everyone, this is Connection. Hey, I was so excited I couldn't sleep this morning. I really wanted to come online and do this new video about chapter 3 of my Encyclopedia, Join the Avengers League. So you know that the whole point of my book is to gather a network of leaders, of experts in their respective fields, whether it is politics, science, fashion, influence, business, marketing, arts, of course, culture, education, the United Nations, the United States government, all the people have been presenting, establishing this long-term strategy, okay, to bring the world back in a healthy direction, where we can accelerate technology while still benefiting the best that the planet has to offer, right? We don't want to go to Mars while polluting our planet. We don't want to trying to hurt people while for personal gain. But at the same time, if you know your party extension, dial 1 now. But if you know you can have a great influence, if you know you're going to have results, if you know you're the person to go to, you want to be promoting yourself. You want to be put in a spot where you can have the leverage. You know what I mean? So, of course, I'm campaigning for the Nobel Prize, and I want to explain today, before I start of anything, why I'm supporting, no matter what, President Trump, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, and Joint Chief of Staff General Dan Kane for the Nobel Peace Prize. You know, I've been campaigning for the Secretary General of the United Nations for many years, and I'm still trying to work at the UNESCO. I think we can do great things in terms of culture and art and developing science and connecting all this network. I'm not campaigning for him anymore because, he's a very nice man. He's dedicated his entire life to service. But at some point, there has been a lot of people dead because of their inaction. I've been trying to get to the United Nations Alliance of Civilizations. I told them I would have a good influence on the peace talks between Ukraine and Russia. They just looked away. They were looking, but they just let me lose everything. And there were people dying. It's not just my personal success. It's all the people that have been dying in this conflict for many years and them not doing anything. So at some point, you can be nice all you want. If you don't want to collaborate, then you got to go with the people who are. Look at the US government, how fast they are. Like 4 years after the conflict, the United Nations, they're just barely sending people there to meet with the foreign minister, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So the US government, they came here a year ago and they already solved conflicts all around the world. They're killing terrorists. So yes, I support them no matter what. If I'm supporting someone, it's not because I want a job. I still want the job, but I'm not supporting the United Nations for the Nobel Prize. This year, I'm supporting America's 250th anniversary. These amazing people. I support Secretary Marco Rubio for him to run for president in 2028. Of course, I think he will have his own Nobel Peace Prize because he's such a smart, bright person. But it's only 3 persons who can have the Nobel Prize. This year, what really stood out is the military action of the United States. And maybe having Marco Rubio get the prize next year. I don't know, but what I know is that we need to do everything in our power to keep our network at the top. Because all this work that we've been providing for many years to gather these experts who are willing to fight for a cause or even to argue and debate against each other, but still work together. That's why I love when people ask questions, when people disagree with me, or they're asking for clarification, because this is how we progress, you know? So yes, I think that Elon Musk and Nassim Haramein should both get the Nobel Prize of Physics. Elon Musk has like the greatest legacy in terms of physics in the whole world. He's made better progress than United States government, you know, than NASA in terms of space exploration and technology. He's been helping NASA. Now they're kind of growing together, which is great, because Jared Isaacman, the administrator of NASA, is a great friend with Elon Musk. So now they're collaborating. But at the same time, they're polluting. President Trump is still very focused on the nuclear power. Elon Musk is still using huge amount of oil and combustion powered rockets to go to space, and they have like 10 rockets a day that are gonna go here within 5 years. So it's huge. So they are the best progress in terms of physics, but Nassim Haramein has the key, the missing key of the puzzle to make this whole era becoming sustainable. So that's why I think they should both earn the Nobel Prize of Physics this year, so they could meet, we could all be there together, all this network. Why having those limiting beliefs that some people have to be left behind when this is the actual opportunity to meet everyone and gather, being the event of the year, so we can this year have all this plan established, get the network brought together. I think you get my point. The same as I would gladly share my prize with Kim Kardashian, because she is the muse, the inspiration, you know, the person who has made me keep going, who empowered me, you know, made me want to do better, be better. And she's just so smart. And I feel like, you know, there is a Nobel Prize for physics, for science, and for literature. But literature is arts in general. You know, they've awarded people, music writers, lyrics writers. And my art is more into the visuals. And the visual is what brings poetry to the eyes and to the world. So that would be so great to see all my people in my book, and then to have Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi win the Nobel Prize for Economic Science. So this year would be literally our year to be in the spotlight, so everybody could learn about the work we've been doing, how we collaborate, and it's everything, the expertise, and make these people immortal. You know, the Nobel Prize for me, it means eternity. It means we become immortal. We are engraved in the memory, you know, of the world's archives, and people will refer to this. So it will be references that will last for a long time as a role model to follow. So this is very inspiring. So let me start presenting this book. This chapter, Join the Avengers League. So here I start with a few job offers from FBI and CIA and all the branches where you could join. So let's start here. Yes. More and more people are using social media, not just to scroll or convey their own message, but to actively collaborate with global partners to establish new visions and policies. Welcome to all our new allies and truth seekers of all parties, religions, and nationalities. So, of course, the goal is that you join the movement. The thing is, everyone thinks they are a good person, but education and traditions can be contradictory, depending on your cultural background. This is why dialogue has never been so important in the world of trolls and weapons of mass destruction. We want to know who we are talking to, who we can trust, who is here for the long run, in the good days to celebrate and in the bad days to recover and make this world enjoyable. I've said it before, you can have a bad day, but you come back and you don't give up on your people, mostly when they need you the most. Okay, and some people, I'm sorry, like some people you can't talk to, they never want to talk, they don't want to make things better, it's just annoying. You can't live with people like this. So I love the White House bachelors, the United Nations mythology, the Pentagon's prayers, the royals' devoted guidance and support, the superstars' influence, seeing people like Malala Yousafzai rise around the world with her message to defend the right of education for girls, Newsmax investigating Hitler, the FBI always trying to scare me, to keep us on the right track, the magician sending me face eruptions to look me up at work, and the mystics' interpretation of our history in symbols and colors. Without forgetting our favorite scientists at International Space Federations, SpaceX, and those who gave up already. Yes, I have a lot of friends who gave up already because they didn't have results and they couldn't live out of their things. And some people, unfortunately, they can't continue if you don't provide opportunities. Okay, so we have the secret services that are always keeping an eye on us to protect us. They're protecting the president, the FBI protecting us. We're so grateful. And like I was saying, this is a quote from a Nobel Prize laureate Anne L'Huillier. She said, "It is always better if you have a diverse group with people coming from different countries and different genders. This really helps to have a more dynamic group. Of course, you can have your own ideas that pop up, but very often it's within a group discussion." She believes that having a group comprising people with different backgrounds and expertise is beneficial, as well as a good atmosphere to promote discussion and where people are happy to be in that group and to contribute so they can do great research. And this is one of the things that really, in our network, we love each other so much that it's overwhelming. Sometimes we're learning to control our emotions because it's really beautiful and inspiring. And I feel a lot of people, they have this, they feel like they're missing something, in their life. This connection where they can, the first gap that you have within yourself, I think, is to find a passion. Finding something that you're passionate about, that you would just spend all your hours on. So that's the first thing. The masterminds helped me do that, because when I started painting, it was just a pastime because I was bored at home and I always wanted to paint. I was always passionate. I mean, I am interested in painting. I started painting and then the painting started activating and I would see, patterns and the vortexes opening with the paintings, and I started having really vivid dreams. This is all when I was not connected on the internet. I was in New Orleans. I was just moving to America, come from Peru, and all these things started happening. And I was telling my husband, I was telling my friends, all this stuff, these dreams, these visions, these vortexes, these things opening, and they were just like, yeah, okay, that's cool, but that's scary, or that's just, you're gonna end up interned in a mental institute, like the people. I didn't really have anyone who would understand my vision or take it seriously. So this is when I turned online and I started finding networks that believed me, instead of letting my critics turn this down. I always found something that comforted me. Sorry for my bad accent. In my ideas. And then it kept evolving until I did it more seriously, and my content started accumulated a little bit, that I kind of had like a portfolio, something to show that it was legit, this is when the masterminds found me. So they were very important at the beginning of my journey, and they do this for millions of people around who are discovering their passion, or a lot of people divorcing, or a lot of people who are trying to convert to another career path. So they were the daily reminder. Like, they would send me emails every day. Hey, do this, do this, do this, do this. Hey, have you done that? Hey, don't give that up. Hey, what if you gave up? You would be like this, you know? Or if you stay like you are right now, you will still be the same in 5 years. Okay, so everyone in this book is a key chain of someone's hero's journey. Okay, this is so important. You have the protectors, those who make sure that you're safe even if you're taking some risks. Those who push you to take those risks, to get out of your comfort zone and find your magic zone. The people who use their networks to relay the information, to relay influence, to translate this into their field, their fashion, their beauty, and then those who literally have the whole industry to make things happen. So very, very important and inspiring. And so when you find this, on top of finding your own passion, but you find then people you're passionate about and that are all passionate about each other, then it's like crazy amount of love, and then loyalty. From that, with time comes loyalty and trust, and trusting in one's decision. And this is why I'm writing this book, because you don't have to go back 10 years to know the whole story, to know the whole thing. You know, it's like the Nobel Prize. They spend all year profiling people. They're telling you, these are people we trust. Okay? Venezuela, she says that these are dictators, blah, blah. This is the person we trust. Okay, we're taking them down. The dictators. Right? So we're shortcutting exponentially our journey to success, because things go fast nowadays with AI and everything. We have to stay competitive against machines now, not even against humans. So that's it. So then I talk about Richard Feynman when he was, so this is the take people where they are and take them where they need to be. You know, your imposter syndrome and maybe the Grinch attitude. He said he didn't want any rewards, anything. His reward was his own work. But in fact, I think that you need to be rewarded. I already talked about that. Okay, so here are some offers, career offers from the United Nations Environment Program. Some offers. So first you have a vacancy announcement, how to apply, screening and shortlisting, assessment and competency-based interview stage, reference checks, official offers, and sometimes don't stay stuck on I'm not receiving an email. You know, nowadays they're watching you on Facebook, they're watching us. I know the United Nations, I applied there 30 times, but never received a single email back. But they do talk in their own way. They talk to you. They're watching your work. They see what you're doing. So keep doing what you like and what you feel you're good at until one day the right person sees you and one day you'll get a phone call. And if not, you can't change anything, but you're still doing what you love and what you believe in. Okay? And then people start speaking up for you. So this is the power of consistency. Department of State assignments are worldwide. The work is consequential and the standard is high. Become a foreign service officer. This is what we're doing here. No matter where I am, I'm still defending my people. I'm still representing America. I'm still representing France. I'm still representing Russia, all the interests that I believe are good for the world. I've said it before. I'm not pro-war, but I do believe that Russia has a lot more to give us for the future, for the long term, than Ukraine does. Ukraine, they became drone specialists. Okay, all right. So if you need drone specialists, you can contract Ukrainian intelligence, but besides that, they don't have much influence in the world. For some reason, they have become the shield of Europe. That's why NATO doesn't want Russia to take Ukraine, because they're kind of like the battlefield, the shield of Europe. So even though things are being destroyed in Europe, they're not talking peace plans because they're the gate, you know? So that's kind of selfish as well. The CIA joined the CIA as a polygraph examiner and contribute directly to the US national security by assessing the credibility of individuals that support the agency's mission. The job is demanding but rewarding for those willing to take on the challenge. Yes. And you don't see the results right away, you know? And sometimes you get to... the path takes you where you need to be. You know, one day it just pops up that they're like, hey, you're working for us now, you do that. Okay. So the CIA.gov/careers, I always wanted to be an FBI agent or a CIA, like, you know, secret agent and stuff like that. Since I was watching Alias, you know, this show. I was watching this when I was a kid. So the FBI special agent, and you know what? I was so surprised because every time I had contact with the FBI, they were such nice people. Like, you would have the idea of people being like really cold and really aggressive, you know, but in fact, they are very well educated. They are very polite, very kind, very understanding, very compassionate, and this is how they catch criminals, you know, like Tom Simons, he was my friend who works at the FBI. Every time he tells about his stories of how they catch criminals and stuff like that, this is one of their strategies, to be really nice and understanding and compassionate to the criminals until they confess their crimes, you know. So be careful. Don't trust everyone, but I do trust my network. And mostly, don't be a criminal. You know, I'm not going to say you should lie or anything. So this is Kim, guys, because she's just so beautiful. And this is, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the story, how this is all started. We have Elon here. Of course, we are the shenanigans. How did it start? I posted a picture one day with a leopard top, and then Kim started posting pictures like very similar to my pictures and kind of with elements from my story. And I was like, what? No, whatever. And then she kept doing it, and I was like, she's stalking me now. What does she want? And I was like, I can't believe, you know, someone like Kim Kardashian is even following my content. But then she kept doing it. She was like many of the people who followed my work. They were like, oh, she has great work. She needs to make it, you know. So she started empowering me like this. And then we kind of fell in love, you know, like I was talking about earlier. And then I sent my space anti-gravity equation to NASA. I sent it to SpaceX. I sent it to everyone. And then they noticed. So Elon Musk started promoting me and everyone. And then we were really, you know, very in love with each other. So this is how we've been just playing a little bit. Because, you know, Oh, work, you have to have fun a little bit. So this is us. Voila, me trying to be a model. This is Kim. Using my story, you know, for her advertisement. This is the moment, like in New York City, that was just like the betrayal, literally. This is when I went to New York City for one of the events, but I saw the registration literally 1 minute after it ended, after the registrations ended. So this had been promoted for months, and for some reason I did not see it. I did not see it. And finally, when I saw it, and I was like, oh my God, I need to go to that event. The registrations had been closed 5 minutes ago. So I wrote to them. I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe I cannot go to this event. Please sign me up. They were like, oh, we're sorry, registrations are closed. I still booked a flight to go to New York City. I showed up to the event. I tried to get entries last minute, you know, at the gate. I begged them to let me in, to give me a pass and everything. Nothing worked. They left me at the door. And so then I still decided to go and campaign for the Nobel Prize, for the Secretary General of the United Nations. And I did all that, you know, and they still didn't give me a job. And it was kind of very disappointed. You know, this was all the posts I posted for a year, every single day, promoting the Secretary General of the United Nations. And I did all that, gave them everything I had, and nothing, you know. So Skims used that for their campaign. I thought it was really cool. She's always very creative. You know, we're telling you stories all the time. This is my favorite picture of Kim of all times. Just because, oh my God, look at her. She's just so beautiful. Yes. So this is my letter. This is the story of now, very interesting story, if you're still watching, of how then the Nobel Prize noticed, because of course I harassed the Nobel Prize with my campaign for the Secretary General of the United Nations every day for a year. I was tagging them on Facebook. I was sending newsletters. I called every single people that are nominators, right? I called the Women Association to tell them to nominate the Secretary General of the United Nations. I went to the General Assembly of the United Nations website, the repertory, and I added every single member of the General Assembly to my newsletter. I went to the European Union Parliament repertory, and I added every single one of their parliament members to, I mean, maybe not every single one, but like the main one that I know kind of follow my work and are more likely to follow the Secretary General of the United Nations. I added them to my newsletter. I went to Harvard University, Princeton University, Oxford University, all the big universities, and I went to find the professors emeriti who are also nominators for the Nobel Peace Prize. I added them to my newsletter. And I send them all emails all the time. I was like, hey, I pre-wrote a nomination for you. You just have 5 minutes. You just have to do one click and post that and nominate the Secretary General of the United Nations. Like years, like months and months and months of work for this campaign. But I know that thousands of people are nominated for the Nobel Prize. So I didn't even think people did it. No, just a few people answered me, oh yeah, good idea, I'm going to nominate him. But I didn't know really if people were actually doing it, if the Nobel Prize Committee, you know, was seeing my post over the millions of posts that there is every day. So I was just kind of like talking to my wall, like I do all the time, talking to myself and to whoever wants to listen. And then after that, I did all this work, and then the school year ended, and I went to France. This was the first time after many years of struggle. I was in debt. I had been an aggressive divorce. It was just hell. I had to fight to survive, pay back my debts and everything. And finally, I'm almost done paying back all my debts. I worked my butt off, 50 hours a week, extra hours in the weekend, summer camp, blah, blah, blah. Finally, I saved up 6,000 dollars. And I knew that my son was going to go and live with his dad for a while. So I knew it was kind of the last time I was going to be really with my son, being a little kid, to go to France. After that, I completely disconnect. I go to France with my son. And we just enjoy our time. We just had the best summer ever. I took him to Paris, took him to Normandy. We went to Nice. We were in a club, summer camp, whatever. It was just amazing. We had the best time of our life. So I didn't really see what was going on online. I didn't even have internet on my phone. So I didn't really see very much what was going on. Then the day of the Nobel Prize happens, and none of us wins the Nobel Prize. So after that, and that was my hopes for me, either to win the Nobel Prize myself or that the Secretary General wins the Nobel Prize. So maybe he would be grateful and give me that job. Like, I needed a job because I was going to lose my home. I was going to lose everything. So if I didn't either win the Nobel Prize or get the job, I was basically going to be homeless. And that's what happened. So I was so bad, and I tried to understand what happened. So I went back and I found out there was a page for the Nobel Prize, the Norwegian Nobel Prize Institute, that I didn't know about that page. I knew 2 of their pages, but I didn't know that one. And then I go back, and I see their posts that they were actually talking to me for all this time. They were seeing my campaign. They were seeing, and they actually, what happened, I think, is that they received the same nomination letter from people completely dispatched around the world that had no connections to each other. And they were like, how did all these people bring the same letter? Where does it come from? And then they found that was from my campaign. So this is when they started looking at my work, and they started talking to me, but I didn't see. So then they got tired of it, but Kim saw it, right? So Kim started doing the back and forth with them that I didn't see that. And then, so that was the whole thing that was happening at the same time. And anyways, then I found everything that they were telling me, and they were saying, like, we're family and all this stuff. So it was like big love, falling in love and everything. And I was like, oh my God, these people who saw me when I was nobody, and so this is all the story of the letter and everything that happened. And then this is when we, and then I'll tell you after the rest of the story, but this is basically our year, last year, where we were all living our parallel worlds, and then there was the campaign, Kim Allfair's campaign, where we were just like doing the fashion show together. So we basically always love the same people. We love the same topics, the same story. Kim and I, we fall in love with the same people. So at the beginning, so this is the funny part, I was like, first off, Kim, she's the most beautiful woman in the world. She can have any guy. Why does she have to go and be in my business? Like, what is so special? Like, so then I realized, so I was like, maybe she's just trying to help me. She has pity for me, So I was like, maybe she's just trying to hook me up with a nice guy. So I made this visual. This is from the Nobel Prize Economic Science visual that they made. And I edited it, you know, with our story. I was like, man, she's just trying to hook me up with a nice guy, which in fact was not the case. And she got pissed off. And we were just fighting to seduce, to conquer, you know, the president of the Nobel Prize, the Nobel Peace Prize committee. So this is when it all went down. Everybody argued. I lost everything. They destroyed my life. And I left. I went back to France. And of course, now we think that it'd be better to realize that we just all love to get each other and just to all be together instead of fighting. So that's what happened, guys. These are our people. And this is so cool. See, Tony Robbins has 2 wives. So we'll just have to change the law now. So that's the story, guys. So now, yeah, so imagine how you feel when, like, you've been waiting so bad to work somewhere and you've been putting all your life, all your efforts, all your free time, instead of playing with my son, you know, I mean, I still took care of my son, but a lot of time that I gave for this man, and then he nominates someone else, you know? So of course, I was not even jealous because Mariam, she's an amazing woman. I love her. I support her. She's such a great poet. She's the global peace advocate for the United Nations now. But you know, this is also shows that sometimes you can win out of nowhere without being in the spotlight, you know? And I was so happy for her. I'm really rarely jealous of people. I'm never, because I know what it feels like to fight for your work and to deserve the reward, you know? So I was always supporting her and she supported me too. But just, you know, you still feel like it was a little bit of a betrayal because he could have nominated me as well and we could have worked together. I actually campaigned for us both to be nominated to work at the Alliance of Civilizations, and just nothing fucking happened, guys. So this is, I love this one. Is this? Yeah, I have a few of her quotes here that are pretty cool. See, before policies, there were mothers who taught daughters to look the world in the eye and not blink. Tell me then, who taught the world to shrink a woman and call it tradition? Who decided that her ambition was arrogance, that her anger was hysteria, that her brilliance was potential instead of power? Because long before you handed her a microphone once a year, calling it International Women's Day, you handed her silence for century. And silence is storage. It is where revolutions go to sharpen their teeth. Before the world learned her name, she was already moving history. When the British entered Abeokuta, they did not anticipate market women organizing beneath head wraps. They did not anticipate Funmilayo Ransom Kuti mobilizing thousands against unfair taxation, turning palm oil traders into political thunder. When apartheid tightened its fist, it did not anticipate mothers who would bury sons and still stand in the streets singing. It did not anticipate Winnie Madikizela Mandela becoming a storm and a symbol. When colonial armies marched into the homeland, they did not expect to meet the Agoji, the women warriors who fought as an institution. When a young girl in Birmingham wrote in her diary, the war did not anticipate Anne Frank outliving in the ink. When a girl in Pakistan picked up a pen, extremism mistook it for something small. They did not anticipate Malala becoming a global consequence. When science classrooms doubted her capacity, they did not anticipate Marie Curie splitting atoms and expectations twice. They told Rosa Parks to stand up. She remained seated, and somehow the entire system lost its balance. See, history has a habit of underestimating women, and women have a habit of outliving history. And this is exactly what happened. Like, you know, people are wondering why I'm angry, why, you know, I become like, revengeful, but it's because of all this, of all the silence, the disrespect that's been served for years, even though you're trying to be the smart person, you're trying to be kind, you're trying to do the right thing, and in return, you get silence, you get disrespect. This is how revolutions are made, and this is how they turn superheroes into villains also. So give opportunity, guys. The healing comes with reparation. But we didn't stop, and we kept growing no matter what. So I guess everything happens for a reason. Maybe my place is in Paris now with UNESCO, but our place is all together winning those prizes and changing the world, bringing our projects together. This is the only way. Why? Because you've not seen this anywhere else, where Democrats and Republicans get along, where technology and environmentalists get along and fight for each other, where people that are pro-oil are actually defending sustainable development thesis. Like, we have managed to turn everything around because we listen to each other and because people are willing to use their capabilities and their time, their energy to promote each other. So we all have something special. You know, that's why we can't do it alone. We need the puzzle brought together. This was also some winks from Emmanuel Macron, the French president, as well. When I got back, NASA is recruiting. It is leading the golden age of space exploration. President Donald Trump has given us the vision. Congress gives us the resources. The only thing we are missing is you. NASA is rebuilding our core competencies necessary to execute at the level this moment demands. That's why we're launching NASA Force. In partnership with the Office of Personal Management and Director Scott Cooper, NASA Force is bringing highly skilled early to mid-career engineers, technologists, and innovators to help us achieve our world-changing mission. So we're offering 1 to 2 years appointments with the opportunity for extensions to key positions across NASA, aimed at bringing in critical expertise, ensuring knowledge transfer, and rebuilding the technical depths that made NASA successful in the first place. You will contribute to missions that advance human spaceflights, aeronautics, and science discovery. We are rebuilding the muscle memory required to move faster, increase cadence, and deliver the outcomes that change the world. Through NASA Force, you will move the needle forward and advance America farther and faster than mankind has ever gone. Go to our NASA Force website or USA Jobs to see the new openings and learn more about how you can be part of the greatest adventure in human history. Yes, and I love this morning I saw a girl, like a woman on Instagram. What was her name? NASA. I don't remember, but she was so cool. She was saying, like, when she was studying, everybody told her, don't study space engineering. There's no job opportunities in Spain. Same thing, you know. And she still did it. And now look, it's the future. Actually, I was telling the opposite to all my students. I was like, you guys, you want to make money, do a job that is interesting, go engineering, space engineering. We have like Cape Canaveral in Florida right next door. Study that. Now, so here as well, some winks, you know, this is what one day I posted this astrology map, right? The astrological signs, and then the Secret Services posted their opening with like some cryptid things. In fact, it's like, what is the line, the one line? Can you read like coding? Like, this is fairly easy. This, guys, this is my mandala tech. It's my mandala library. If you scan this code with your phone, here. If you scan this code with your phone, all my artwork is available digitally for free. You can use it to do whatever you want, to print it or make shirts or whatever. I already have a shop for all that if you want to buy it already made. But if you want to use for screensavers or do whatever, my artwork is available for free. Like I said, I didn't make a business because I give everything for free because I feel like culture should be accessible to everyone. So now your FBI, cyber. So here is my little application for UNESCO. So like I said, United Nations broke my heart before, but I still believe that now with the extremely amazing relationship we have with the United States government would be the best time in history to have one of us hired there. I'd be honored to represent both France and the United States, working with UNESCO, bringing all the network, if we can have the support of the Nobel Prize Committee as well, to gather all our people this December to connect, and ensure that we are actually going to make those things happen, those spaceships, and have something to offer to Russia for the Space Olympics. That's my big project, the Space Olympics in Moscow. Obviously, that would be all around the world because they're not going to depart all their spaceships from one city, but the headquarters and main events and stuff would be in Russia. So Mr. Elenani, so excited to have an Egyptian as head of UNESCO. You know how much I love Egypt. The Tablets of Emerald, the Book of the Dead, like all the Egyptian goddesses, the temples, the initiation. If you like Egypt and you want to learn in a, more like spiritual way, you can follow Matias De Stefano, watch my movie, Yo Soy 2022, the movie. I went to that event in Egypt. I filmed absolutely everything. I made 2 movies from this trip. So, global partnerships in education and culture. Right now, he is traveling all around the world to meet world partners, probably talk about ongoing and new projects that we're going to build, protecting the heritage, promoting. Okay, you see my 3 important words here is investing, promoting, and participating. Okay, maybe you're not able to invest, but you're able to promote and defend and participate. Okay, maybe you have the money, you don't have the time to promote or participate, but you have the money to invest. Like we all have an ability to do something. So progress is not impossible. It is a political choice. It is active leadership. It is justice in practice. And once again, this is one of the things I was writing here. So you see how we respond to each other. We use that. I love when they, I write some speeches and things and they take pieces of it to bring to the General Assembly. I appreciate, I'm honored that those ideas are making their way to those places. Yes, they told us women couldn't have a seat at the table, so we took the podium, and this is what Donald Trump and his boys have been doing. You guys don't want us? Well, we're going to make our own way. So I love they're partnering with fashion, just like I've been doing with Kim Kardashian, because you have to give people not just what they need, but what they want. What is it you really want? Do we want to read a book all day, or do we want it to be fun and inspiring and all this stuff? We must combine resources and expertise to transform education globally, including improving textbook and learning material, ensuring every child can learn and helping build a more peaceful, stable future. Khaled El Enani, the UNESCO Director General. I can't wait to meet you. I really, really hope that we get to have an interview really soon and get to work together. And I'm very appreciative of all the recommendations that I've received and very grateful to all the beautiful artworks. Now I want to read an extract of the Tablets of Emerald. This is crazy that everybody in this network are in the Tablets of Emerald. Every time I reread the book, I discover new passages like I read it for the first time. I read it differently. And then I look and literally you have some of the people that we have that have like the same name or anagrams of the names that are in the tablets. That's crazy. So I'm gonna read you this extract. List ye, so it means listen, okay. Listen you, O man, to the deep hidden wisdom, lost to the world since the time of the dwellers, lost and forgotten by men of this age. Know ye this earth is but a portal, guarded by the powers unknown to man. Yet the dark lords hide the entrance that leads to the heaven-born land. Know ye the way to the sphere of Arulu is guarded by barriers opened only to light-born man. So this is kind of, the tablet talks about rooms that have been left vacant to all seeming, but that are the keys to the doors of Amenti. And this is what my page is. I mean, not the only one, but when you look at my page, it looks like there's nobody here. It's ghost town. Nobody comments on my post, not a lot at least. And actually, this is where we speak the truth, not coding information, and because we're trying to gather these people, we're trying to solve problems, and most of the time, people are kind of limited with their organizations. If you're working at the United Nations, you have to promote and speak on behalf of the United Nations. If you're speaking for the American government, you're speaking on behalf of Republicans, and you're not going to say good things about Democrats because you don't want to lose the next elections. You want to win the next elections, to speak more positively. So on my page, because I wasn't really working for any organizations, I was promoting all of them. So this was kind of like the political magazines where everybody's being promoted. Everybody has a voice. Everybody's either promoted or criticized. We question each other. We ask for accountability. We ask for help. We give ideas. We contribute to campaigns. So it's really a platform of discussion that, for me, it's a key of a lot of this network. So it's been hidden for a long time, and it was all coded, and only the people who could feel the energy, let's say, because it's a matter of you align to the frequency or not, and people could see it and start reading and be like, oh wait, there's a lot of stuff here, maybe I'm gonna hang around and see. And then when you join this network, your powers grow, because you're in sacred land where all the Egyptian gods, the Inca gods, there is no one religion. It's the manifestations of God through different energies, through different cultures and frequencies. It's like the branches of one tree. There should be one God, and has different manifestations, different branches, different aspects that will identify more to one culture or the other. Upon earth I am the holder of the keys to the gate of sacred land. Command I, by the powers beyond me, to leave the keys to the world of man. Before I depart, I give you the secrets of how you may rise from the bondage of darkness. Cast off the fetters of flesh that have bound ye, rise from the darkness into the light. Know ye the soul must be cleansed of its darkness. Here you may enter the portal of light. Thus I established among ye the mysteries, so that the secrets may always be found. So this is the thing, though. They make the way hard, but they always leave clues. My mentor, they always say, success leaves clues. Success leaves clues. The secrets may be found, because you want to make the way challenging, but you don't want to make it impossible. And that's the problem. Some people took it as, oh, it's going to be no forever. And you're just making the way impossible, and you're ruining people's lives. And then there's dead people. And then it's a whole snowball effect that we need to stop this. Okay, we're here to rewrite history, remember? I've criticized some of the things from the Tablets of Emerald. I've said this was working 36,000 years ago, and some of these things are still true, but we can also challenge the sacred text, because we are sacred too. And remember, even the Bible was written by men. So by men who say God said that, but you know how we write our history books. There's lies in all the history books because people want this person to look good and this person to, you know, be elected or do look better in that way, or they want to be remembered a certain way. Or if you read Russian books and American books, I'm pretty sure they're not saying the same thing about World War II or the Cold War and stuff like that, because they say the things that they want their own people to believe and remember. So there is no reason that the Bible wasn't written any differently. So all these sacred books, of course, they carry sacred energy, sacred knowledge, sacred intelligence, magical powers, and all of that. I am convinced of it. But they've also been written through the hands of men that have doubts sometimes, or that have certain perceptions. So it's okay to rewrite. This is why I'm writing my own prophecies and my own books, because I want this to be our book of wisdom. Man in the future will deny the mysteries, but always the way the seeker will find. Now I command you to maintain my secrets, giving only to those you have tested, so that the pure may not be corrupted, so that the power of truth may prevail. It's true. You know, people, they want the truth, but then they make problems. So that's why sometimes you have to code the things so you can keep going for your higher purpose. Listen you now to the unveiling of mystery. Listen, but look how profound and beautiful that is. Listen to the symbols of mystery I give. Make of it a religion, for only thus will its essence remain. Regions there are two between this life and the great one, traveled by the souls who depart from this earth. Do what? The home of the powers of illusion. Seket, Hespet. Seriously? Guys? The house of the gods. You know, and you see how Pete Hexet, the Secretary of War, he's always talking about God. He's so sacred. Why? Because he's the reincarnation of an Egyptian god coming here to restore order on the earth. Only that. You know, guys? So this is why they are so powerful, because they are guided by gods. Actually, when you go to Egypt and you see the representations of royalties, or kings and even warriors, sometimes they have two arms. I mean, they have their two arms normally, but behind an arm, they have a second arm. And it represents the arm of God. That every things they do is guided by the hand of God. So, yes, the Bible, in the 10 Commandments of the Bible, they say you shall not kill. But when you have terrorists around the world that are just, you know, endangering their own communities, I mean, you have to make hard decisions to restore order. And God, you know, in all the biblical stories, you have the wrath of the gods, and biblical or even the mythological in the Greek mythology and everything, you have the wrath of the gods. The gods are not saints, you know. They kill. Duat, the home of the powers of illusion. This is General Kane, the magician. You know, when you master the technology, then you're a magician. Osiris, the symbol of the guard of the portal. This is the Nobel Prize Committee. They are the guards of those portals, the portals of eternity, who turns back the souls of unworthy men. Beyond lies the sphere of the heaven-born powers, Arulu, the land where the great ones have passed. There, when my work among men has been finished, will I join the great ones of my ancient home. So, that means that maybe the Secretary General of the United Nations will get the Nobel Peace Prize next year. I really think that this year our boys should have it, because this will help them win the next elections. You know, we want have been credited by the Nobel Peace Prize Committee. That would be a great asset for them to win the campaign, and for us to still be a part of the decision making and restoring peace around the world. Where was I? Seven are the mansions of the house of the mighty. 3 guards the portal of each house from the darkness. 15 the ways that lead to Duat. 12 are the houses of the lords of illusion, facing 4 ways, each of them different. 42 are the great powers, judging the dead who seek for the portal. 4 are the sons of Horus. 2 are the guards of east and west of Isis, the mother who pleads for her children. Queen of the moon, reflecting the sun. That's Kim. Ba is the essence living forever. Ka is the shadow that man knows as life. Ba cometh not until Ka is incarnate. These are mysteries to preserve through the ages. Keys are they of life and of death. And of course, you might have people in your own community that correspond to those descriptions. You know, at every scale, you can recognize yourself in this book and be the hero of your own story. So this is, I'm recognizing the people from my journey, from my network. But these are themes and frequencies that are universal. They will touch your soul. They will touch your DNA and reprogram your beliefs and also your skills once you apply it to your life every day and you trust blindly. Imagine someone tells you, hey, you're going to give away your house for $0 and quit your job tomorrow morning. Like, no guarantee, no explanations. How much do you trust your people that you would just do that? You know? Well, don't do that, okay? I'm just crazy. But now you see that gave me the time to write this book. I'm so happy about that. Hear ye now the mystery of mysteries. Learn of the cycle beginningless and endless, the form of he who is one and in all. Listen and hear it. Go forth and apply it. See, this is just what I told you. Thus will you travel the way I go. Mystery and mystery, yet clear to the light born, the secret of all I now will reveal. I will declare secrets to the initiated, but let the door be wholly shut against the profane. 3 is the mystery, come from the Great One. Hear and light on thee will dawn. In the prime world dwells 3 unities. Other than these, none can exist. These are the equilibrium, source of creation. Oh, I like this passage. 1 God, 1 truth, 1 point of freedom. 3 come forth from the 3 of the balance. All life, all good, all power. 3 are the qualities of God in this light home. Infinite power, infinite wisdom, infinite love. 3 are the powers given to the masters to transmute evil, assist good, and use discrimination. 3 are the things inevitable for God to perform. Manifest power, wisdom, and love. 3 are the powers creating all things. Divine love, possessed of perfect knowledge. Divine wisdom, having all possible means. Divine power, possessed by the joint will of divine love and wisdom. 3 are the circles of existence. The circle of light, where dwells nothing but God, and only God can traverse it. The cycle of chaos, where all things by nature arise from death. The circle of awareness, where all things spring from life. All things animate are of 3 states of existence: chaos or death, liberty and humanity, and felicity of heaven. 3 necessities control all things: beginning in the great deep, the circle of chaos, plenitude in heaven. 3 are the paths to the soul, man, liberty, and light. 3 are the hindrances, lack of endeavor to obtain knowledge, non-attachment of God, attachment to evil. Yeah, these are very important. The hindrances, the lack of endeavor to obtain knowledge, non-attachment to God, and attachment to evil. This is very interesting, this one. Because though in the tablet talks a lot about detachment. When you say a state of aguanti, it talks about a state of detachment, which in Spanish, aguantar means like to suffer, not to suffer, but it's like no lo puedo aguantar. It's like I can't stand it, or to be patient enough for something. Aguantar is to support something, to suffer for something, right? So, and in the tablets, aguanti means detachment. So he says that you have to be detached from everything. But for me, that was this one point that I criticize in the tablet. And I think that's probably a mistake in the translation. Because like I said, aguantar means to suffer from something, to take it, you know? Because I always found that attachment was actually a gift. If you're attached to people, it means you love people. If you're attached to a community, you're attached to a cause. If you're attached to something, it means that you care, you're a part of it, you're integrated, for me, it's very important. When I'm detached, it's when I'm at my lowest point. Like, I don't care anymore. My life sucks. My career at that point, whatever, I don't care. My people at that point, I don't care. What I lose them, good. I don't lose them, good. In the state of mind that you're detached, it's horrible. So, and here he says that one of the hindrances is non-attachment to God. And I think it should be the same with people. You should be attached to God and to the sacred, but you should also be attached to the people, because we're all manifestations of God. So you see, even the book itself, in some points of the book, contradicts. So why? Because it's okay to change your mind. You don't have to be, only idiots never change their minds. It's okay to have emotions and fluctuations and ask questions. Actually, if you doubt yourself or you change your mind, it means you're asking yourself questions and you're evolving. So yes. But I do think there probably are a couple of mistakes in the translations, or different levels of understanding that you understand from your own point of experience. Sometimes it's cool to detach. Like, I detach from things that don't matter. Like, I've gone through so many problems and attacks and challenges and violence that I don't get really disturbed by little things. Like, if something bothers me, I'm gonna say it right away, and that's it. I'm over it immediately. I'm not gonna be here mad for 4 days for some minor thing. And that's it. Like, even I lost my house, and then I was really mad at my network of rich, wealthy people. And then I'm like, whatever, I survive. No matter where I go, I will survive. It's just a shame, because where I'm mad is not like, where I'm mad is like the big things, or the things that are repeated disrespect for years, or repeated bigotry, where you have people dying around the world, and in the meanwhile, nobody's doing anything. I'm mad at that. There is revenge. I'm very revengeful. You know, you have to be accountable for your actions and your inaction. In man, the three are manifest. The three are the kings of power within. Three are the chambers of the mystery, found yet not found in the body of man. Three are the chambers of mystery, found yet not found in the body of man. That would be like the pyramid, where they still discover new chambers. Maybe we have parts of our body that we have not found. And this could actually be the etherical body, because in the human body, we have found everything. You know, they're still searching in terms of neurological connections and things like that, but that could be the etherical body also. Or I think also we're starting to understand that, but the connection between the psychology and the way we somatize in our body. Hear you now of he who is liberated, freed from the bondage of life into light, knowing the source of all worlds shall be open. Aye, even the gates of Arulu shall not be barred. Yet heed, O man, who wouldst enter heaven, if ye... English is so hard to speak. If ye be not worthy, better it be to fall into the fire. Know ye the celestial path through the pure flame. At every revolution of the heavens, they bathe in the fountain of light. Listen, you man, to this mystery. Long in the past, before you were man-born, I dwelt in ancient Atlantis. There in a temple I drank of the wisdom poured as a fountain of light from the dweller. Give the key to ascend to the presence of light in the great world. Stood I before the Holy One, enthroned in the flower of fire. Veiled was he by the lightning of darkness, else my soul by the glory have been shattered. Forth from the feet of his throne, like the diamond, rolled forth 4 rivers of flame from his footstool, rolled through the channels of cloud to the man-world. Filled was the hall with spirits of heaven. Wonder of wonders was the starry palace. Crazy. My friend just got me The Starry Night by Van Gogh. Above the sky, like a rainbow of fire and sunlight, were formed the spirit, sang they the glory of the Holy One. Then from the midst of the fire came a voice. Behold the glory of the first cause. I beheld that light, high above all darkness, reflected in my own being. I attained, as it were, to the God of all gods, the Spirit Sun, the sovereign of the sun spheres. There is one, even the first, who has no beginning, who has no end, who has made all things, who governs all, who is good, who is just, who illuminates, who sustains. And this is the goal. I'm not going to read the whole thing, guys, because really it's long. But I encourage you to read the tablets. They say, before I return to the halls of Amenti, taught shall you be the secrets of secrets, how you too may arise to the light. Preserve them and guard them, hide them in symbols, so the profane will laugh and renounce. Yes, that's also a selection criteria. You know, a lot of things are written in symbols or explained in symbols. So you know, only the people who are intelligent enough can understand. It's just like a selection process to go to the FBI. You have to take an IQ test before you even go and take an interview. If not, they won't even talk to you. In every land, for me, the mystery. Make the way hard for the seeker to tread. But I think we should make the way easy. This is another thing that I think, if you're willing to seek for your best life and for intelligent, we should make the way easy. Okay, and this is what they're doing at NASA. You reread a lot of these people, they all know the tablets of emerald, by the way. NASA, that's what he's saying. He's saying we're making the way easy for mid-level engineers and stuff like that, with at the end great high positions opportunities. at NASA, because he understands that you have to make the way a little bit easy for people to start being interested. Otherwise, you're getting discouraged. All right, guys. When one has passed all the trials of the outer, summon ye me by the key that you hold. Then will I, the initiator, answer, come from the halls of the gods in Amenti. Then will I receive the initiate, give him the words of power. Yes, guys. So this is it. This is my key. This is my book, is the key. Then, you see, you had to suffer so much. And now we're making the way easy. And that's his sophisticated creeping. I love this song because he's talking, you know, how when they say that you're turning superheroes into villains. Because you're just shutting them down all the time. And what do you want to do to people? You shut them down all the time. People who are criticizing and blah, blah, blah. Or ignoring you while you're doing everything. People are going to get discouraged and become alcoholic. So this is the Syrians, starseeds, the blue beings. I'm very connected to those blue beings. Free the people. Some art, the runes. Go to my first book if you want to learn about symbols. It's in my first book. You're not going to learn a lot about symbols in this book. It's more about the application of the symbols. There are some, but all the descriptions and the repertoire of symbols really is in the first book. This one is the application. See? Other chambers are built and left vacant to all seeming, yet hidden within them are the keys to Amenti. He who encouraged would dare the dark realm, let him be purified first by long fasting. Lie in the sarcophagus of stone in my chamber, then reveal I to him the great mystery. Soon shall he follow to where I shall meet him. Even in the darkness of earth shall I meet him. I, Thought, Lord of wisdom, meet him and hold him and dwell with him always. I love this passage because even in the darkness, even when you're in a bad place, your mentors, your real family, your real people, they stay for you. And this is a great selection criteria. And this is one of the things that I'm grateful for. My struggles is that some people that found me and supported me when I was nobody, when I was struggling, when I was doing like fraud because I had no choice to survive, they still supported, they still helped me up. So this builds loyalty for life, you know? Because it's easy to, it's easy to have the fan syndrome and be like people all shiny on stage and everything, and to be like, oh my God, I love them. I want to support them. I'm campaigning for them. I had no idea who you were a year ago. But now that you're in the spotlight, everybody wants to support you. And at the same time, a lot of people want to take you down as well because they're jealous or whatever. Or it's not serving their own political interest or whatever. But when it's the other way around and you're nobody and you're in the shadow and you're struggling and people still see you and people still see the great in you, then you can see their values and who they really are. And this builds loyalty forever. So built I the Great Pyramid, and this is why I wrote a book about all these people. Built I the Great Pyramid, patterned after the pyramid of Earth's force, burning eternally so that it too might remain through the ages. In it I built my knowledge of magic science, so that it might be here when again I return from Amenti. While I sleep in the halls of Amenti, my soul roaming free will incarnate, dwell among men in this form or another. Yes. So this is it. This is us, guys. Yeah, from the United Nations to working for the US government. And then from the rockets that burn with fire to the new spaceships, And this is where we're going to meet. This is where we're going to meet with everyone. We're going to meet at the Nobel Prize committee, and hopefully UNESCO, we will meet earlier than that and start working already together. Then, and now I support, that Mariam works at the Alliance of Civilizations. I'm kind of like pissed off with the United Nations New York City. I'm like, whatever, guys. Y'all can have it. This is such a shame that we are all loving each other so much and wanting to work together, but because of just inaction, it's all be very, very annoying. But Mariam is a great talent. There's a lot of amazing people. I love the president of the General Assembly, Annalena Baerbock. She's very smart. She's very, how do you call it? Articulate. She speaks really well. She has a lot of integrity. She's very active. She's promoting all the work of the United Nations in an interesting way on social media, which is important because this is how people know what's going on in these organizations and want to participate. If you're just doing everything between closed doors, this is where conspiracy theories are born and the hate and everything. So that's why it's so important to open the doors. Yet, then and now, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. JD, he's doing a great work as a vice president, supporting President Trump. His emotional support, best friend. But I don't see him becoming president. He doesn't have the charisma. He doesn't have the ideas. I have never, ever heard JD Vance having ideas for the country or making huge decisions. He just, confirms everything that President Trump says. And that's what he's there for, to support. But the whole work right now is made by these guys: Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, the Joint Chief of Staff General Dan Kane, and of course President Trump, who is leading everyone, who has chosen the best team, who is extremely supportive of the work that we're doing. And I'm so grateful because I know that Donald Trump has a great ego, and for him to support people who voted against him, who campaigned against him, that's a great proof of intelligence. And this is how he won the election, by bringing his opponents to work for him in his team and bring different ideas and open dialogue and make the best of every branch work for his government. So I'm 100% supporting Marco Rubio to become the new president in 2028. I think Pete Hegseth should stay exactly where he is. He's a great Secretary of War. They are a great team. I hope that they will stay there for a long time. So they're keeping the world safe. They're using this technology in a great way. They're interested in space as well. Everything that they've been doing, they've been Secretary Hegseth and the NASA administrator, they've been touring all the NASA offices, all the bases. They're really close to their people. They believe in opportunities. So I hope that this is going to stay like this for a long time. And Marco Rubio is the doors to this continuation, right? I think there is nothing more stupid than starting over every 4 years, where you have the Democrats and then the Republicans canceling each other's work. It's just like running on a treadmill. It's not going anywhere. So we really have to ensure this continuity, and that they're doing a great job. They solved the immigration problem, which, let's be honest, we didn't want to hurt those people, but it was getting out of control, and there were criminals that took advantage of it to commit fraud. And I'm not talking about making a little $4,000 loan to save your life and your cats. I'm talking about millions of dollars of people who claim to have daycares and they didn't contribute anything to society. So that's unacceptable. And it's because of people like that then they stop giving out help. excuse me. So Newsmax is doing a great job in evidencing all this fraud done by the Democrats. Thank you guys for supporting the party. This was my little then and now comic books that I made, and it's true. I'm telling you, like, Vladimir Putin, he is the key to denuclearization. Why? Because he walks around with his briefcase all the time. You know, the ICJ, I agree, guys, that the war in Ukraine, there were dead people. It's hard to have a clean war. At the same time, it's a military war. There has been casualties. There were civilians. It's true. But Israel is completely different. They've been killing civilians over and over. Russia-Ukraine is a military war. There's no gentle wars. I'm sorry, a war is a war. So when they're saying the war of aggression, this is just a rhetoric, because a war by nature is aggressive. So you're still not going to get him. The ICJ, they're trying to build a case against Vladimir Putin. You're not going to get him because he has the nuclear weapon, and we want to solve that problem together. He is the one who said that we should not have nuclear weapons, and he's showing you what happens when you don't take action. That's what he's showing you. They're telling you literally, you guys don't want to move forward, then we're going to go show you what's going to happen if we don't. So I know it's kind of the Russian way to do it, a little aggressively, but I guarantee that if we bring the Space Olympics and new technology to Vladimir Putin, who's passionate about it, and we grant him a pardon, he will bring all the BRICS countries together to convince them for denuclearization. Now, will NATO follow us in doing the same thing to NATO countries? I believe so. I believe so. But this was just like, how can you laugh about your country being at war? You know? Like, they're all making tons of money out of these weapon trafficking, and their own people are suffering, but he's excited. Like, I don't know, that was just so very, very shocking to me. So Dean Graziosi, the world's greatest salesman, literally, you see, he's got the little Department of War logo right here that I stuck on his shirt. I love to do that. Screenshotting people and get on board and change your life. This is how they literally got me. They found me, and this is literally what happened, guys. Literally, I was sleeping in New Orleans. This was before Dean and everything. But I've known these guys for many lives. So we didn't just meet in these lives. We've known each other for many lives before. But I was in New Orleans. I was sleeping. I woke up one night. There was a spaceship like this in my garden, and they blue beings like came down and touched me, and then I woke up in my bed. And I was very confused. I was like, did this really happen? Just like in the movies when they get abducted by aliens and then they wake up in their bed. Exactly like that. So after that, this is when I started seeing my mandalas activating and being ordered to paint stuff. Like, I would wake up with a painting in my head, and it was like, I have to paint this. I have to paint those symbols. I have to paint that. So it was always ordered by the universe. I want you to stay. That's Kim. So I will legitimately share my Nobel Prize of Literature with Kim, who basically we wrote this book together. She's been there every step of the way. My first book, that was Dean Graziosi, and there's also the Secretary of War, who's been here every step of the way to write this book, but I want them to have their own Nobel Prize. But since there's no fashion Nobel Prize, she will have the Literature Prize with me. Literally, imagine that everyone is finally rewarded, and the next year I will nominate, if I do get my Nobel Prize, then I become a nominator. I will nominate Mariam. She's an amazing speaker. She has the charisma. You know, charisma is very important because people take you seriously or they don't. And sometimes for me, I know I look really young, and many times people didn't take me seriously because I look really young. And it doesn't mean I'm not mature enough or don't have the ideas. But yes, when you have a voice and charisma, it makes your way open a lot quicker. They told girls across continents to lower their gaze. But how do you lower your gaze when you have already seen what you deserve? And she has this way to find the right words. Do you know how many empires were founded by the unpaid labor of women? How many revolutions were fed by the hands that never signed the Constitution? How many policies were debated in rooms cleaned by women who were never invited inside them? A woman is often the first to wake and the last to acknowledge. She birthed nations, raised leaders, buried martyrs, and is still asked if she is qualified. Is survival not credential? Is endurance not expertise? Is rebuilding yourself in a world that profits from your doubts not doctoral work? They love to celebrate strong women, but strength is not a personality trait. It is what happens when softness is denied safety. I love that. They want to celebrate strong women. I love this one. They love to celebrate strong women, but strength is not a personality trait. This is what happens when softness is denied safety. Seriously. You call her resilient. What you mean is she had no choice. You call her inspiring, but what you mean is she survived something you never saw, or maybe you saw, but you let it happen. And yet, even now, even in a room like this, there are contracts signed with smiles that do not include her. And it's always like this. And then you ask why we're pissed off. Yep. So we drink. So we drink a lot. Yep. We drink a lot. Will you be cool like water, putting out the fire? How can you be free from all this sorrow? Will the ones you love today be gone tomorrow? And Secretary Rubio was saying, you know how America was built on uncertainty. And it's really difficult to work on uncertainty and do all that without having all the guarantees. But at the same time, if you don't do anything, you're sure that nothing's going to happen. So these were my nominations. Last year, it's evolved a little bit, you know, and some people who master the technology better than you can just swipe you off your feet. And that's what happened. That's what happened for the United Nations. I mean, I don't know. I'm not the president of the Nobel Prize Committee. I'm just campaigning. You know, I'm campaigning. Because I believe this is a great opportunity for all of us to make this happen. So the controversy about the Nobel Prize, of course, was, you know, years of nonviolent peace processes that supposedly is the right thing to do. But they have led to the rise of extremism, mostly in the Middle East. It has also led some of our allies to take advantage of us to fulfill their own agenda. And who paid the highest price? The American taxpayer and humanitarians. Sometimes you have to choose violence to remove the bad weeds from our political scene, start fresh on healthy foundation, and hope that wonders will win the wars against terror and crimes. Yep. That's our tribe. That's our tribe. Don't underestimate the power of influence. And trust me, the people who make it to the top, when they're like, oh, these girls, all they do is model, you know, trust me, before you make it there to being super famous and super wealthy, you've got to be a lot intelligent. And you've got a lot of attacks, a lot of critics, a lot of people who are trying to take you down. And if you're still here thriving, you've definitely been able to have strategies to build a business, but also the consistency to recreate yourself every day, to bring something new to the table all the time. So that's mastery. We have a lot to learn from the Kardashians. Legends, The Rock, Billy Carson, all these people. I feel like Billy Carson is stepping out back a little bit. I feel like we were all really, really excited about New York City. This is it. This is what happens. You guys ruining potential and talent. Like Billy Carson, they were, man, on the rise. And now you feel like, okay, you know, he's been reselling his, someone else is holding the business now. And it's just, you know, you lose enthusiasm after a while when people deny you a door. And Billy Carson, bro, he's probably one of the smartest guy on this earth, and in many, 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 many different fields of expertise. Like the United Nations saying no to us, big mistake, huge. Let me tell you, huge mistake. Well, it's never too late to change course. The all-time favorites, this is one is funny. This is like Caroline's face when Rubio, she discovers that Rubio is an alien. But yeah, they're great. And that's it. And now we are done with chapter 1. So tomorrow, join us for chapter 2. Discipline, accountability, transparency, geopolitics of the 21st century. Facts, mediation, and strategies. This is tomorrow. So you see, I introduced all the people who contributed to making this book, who are great leaders for our society, how we communicate with each other, how we use symbolism to communicate, but mostly how you build a business and you build trust with consistency, loyalty, and honesty, and dialogue, and answering questions, and not just attack people because they think different than you. Sometimes they just want clarification. They want to understand. If people want to understand, it means they're interested in your work, in what you're doing, in your product. So yes, the most beautiful thing. It's very excited. The chapter 1 is really cool, but all the new chapters coming up. This is going to be more geopolitics and notably talking about the Middle East, Russia, my Ministry of Sound project, then all the magic, PachaMamArt, and then the classics and everything. So continue joining those lives if you're watching. If not, anyways, I'm gonna make a page with all the presentations. Okay, 1 hour a day or 2 hours a day, but here in 2 weeks you will have read a whole encyclopedia. How many people have an encyclopedia at home but you never really read it, or you read a couple of pages, but you know, it's important that you know about this. All right, guys. Well, have a great day, and thank you for watching. Bye.